before I go ahead and comment and analyze what Daniel Martell stated August 2nd, I need to make sure that everybody understands. The more time has passed, the less I expect the statements to tell me in general. Now, with Daniel, it's a little bit of an exception. Usually, people have a lot of time to think and they correct their own little faux pas and they become more and more, how shall I say, they get better at lying. And here, apparently, we have a guy who wants to get down to explaining himself more. Before, he did the hit and runs. Very short, everything very short. But here, he's now speaking. He's speaking out, people. I think that Daniel is using the opportunity. Oh my God. That other one. Is it, didn't I come up with this? The founder of Skeptics. I cannot see it. Jesus. Skeptics Anonymous? No. Skeptics. Gee. You know what? I'm going to take my time now because I see all the other people when they're doing their lives and they're eating KFC. Yeah, Skeptics Anon, but with double N. So I saw it right the first time. But who cares? So I see people take the time and that's what I'm going to do now. It's all about the live chat anyways, and I love your comments. Some of your comments. Absolutely love them. And what was that study again? That's to God, I don't even remember your. I wish I could tell you your username because one moment, please. So this is from my last video, right? From the beginning, I thought there was something off about the Lily poking in and out of the bedroom as Daniel and Michaela, Malaya, and Melu were sleeping. If those babies were hungry and loved the... Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. You are the one I'm talking about, but that's not the comment. There was another one. Unless you edited it. But I agree with you. So Janie says in one breath she minds her business with what goes on in the trailer. Then says she knew about the blanket in the garbage because she told Daniel to not overfill the garbage. Yes. So which is it? Does she mind her business or not? She's a double talker. The apple doesn't fall from... She is an annoying micromanager. She is the type of person creating problems where there are no problems. She is the type of person that will follow you, stare at you while you're doing something, and criticize you the whole way through. She is the type, even though Daniel had to remove Jack and Lily's bodies. But because he forgot the coat and the shirt, she self-righteously wanted to make a point by putting it on top of the car, the shirt and the coat, to make sure when he returns, he will see it. because the message has to be, look what you forgot. If I wasn't here to do everything for you, where would you be? Do you know what I mean? You know people like that? Oh, I do. Oh, I do. And I think about them. Thanks to Janie. That is why she is so much on the control path that she didn't even stop and think, wait a minute, what if the cops see Lily's coat and Lily's shirt that she should have been wearing outside? Didn't even care. So where's your other comment, ma'am? I like your comments. Kimberly, yeah. We can't get desensitized people because I thought you were going to say something. I needed to write down my notes as I'm learning. Then these people are full of shit. Yeah. There's two sides to everybody, man. You know what I mean? And sometimes, also when it came to the Durwood thing, no, man. I like challenges. So if something is too easy for me, no challenge whatsoever, I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? And what would be the point of me spending an hour proving Durwood? First of all, if you're watching my videos, those who really watch my videos and really listen and learn from it, they didn't need to spend much time analyzing Durwood to know he was lying. So I always figure, you know what, when it gets too easy, then it gets boring. I can do it, but why? What I prefer to do is figure out what others can't. That's where my time is spent best. Especially when there are statements where I myself may not see the important parts immediately. Those are the statements that I absolutely love. And for those of you who have sent me statements, what was that case again? Let me see. Haley Cummings, somebody just sent me this on Messenger. Yeah, always give me the timestamp, guys. Thank you, everybody, for the beautiful compliments. I love it the most when, when I put my heart into this and realize people are getting it. And when I teach, I don't necessarily do it from the head. I don't like to think too much because overthinking means less understanding. Whenever you analyze anything, and it doesn't have to be in criminology, it can be your partner, you know? Uh, who was doing that? McClish, maybe? About, a lot of people, a lot of times people want to find out, is their partner cheating? And these statements, I can analyze them. I don't want to. I really don't want to get in the middle of these things. You know what I mean? Because then you get really, really attacked, people. Trust me. What? This guy, he thinks because I said this and that. Oh my God. That is a good way to get unnecessary death threats. And overall, I always feel like, if you have suspicions, well, some people have unreasonable suspicions, but if you're the type of person who's very intuitive, well, you can watch my videos and, if any, okay, let me say it like this. I don't want to touch a current case where maybe you are still together with the guy, right? I will not touch that. But if you can tell me, for example, 7 years ago, I got divorced and I just found my old emails from my husband or messages when I accused him of cheating and check out what he said. Look um, how deceptive his statements were, something like that. And it's over, it's done, and we don't want to use a name or none of that. Yeah, I would actually love to do that. How to tell your partner is cheating. Two simple questions to ask your partner. Are you being faithful to me? Do you have, I will think about something better, but I would like to, normally, if the questions are good, two questions will do, people. And I don't know if you ever watched Trimaco, the polygrapher. Dr. Phil used him all the time. And what he did, he only asked two major questions, but he asked them in two different ways. And I think that's a very, very good style. Believe it or not, it is actually a really good style to go straight to the point and ask in two different ways. So in this case, in the case of cheating spouses and such, you want to look, you want to, of course, you expect a reliable denier. That's the most important thing, you know. So before he calls you crazy and you're too suspicious, you are whatever he wants to call you, right? Okay, uh, calling somebody names doesn't necessarily mean that person is guilty. But before he calls you any names, he needs to give you a reliable denial. Do you have a relationship with anybody else? Are you being faithful with me? To me? Yes, I am faithful to you. No, I don't have any other relationships. These are reliable denials that we need. Then, if you don't, if you're not satisfied with that and say, well, I don't believe you. I think, I smelled something on your collar or whatever. Then he said, you know what, you're crazy. I'm done with you now. I'm through. I'm not doing this anymore. Something like that, then not a problem. Not a problem, because he already gave us a reliable denial. And the same is when somebody accuses me of whatever, genderism or racism or whatever, like that woman did. What's her name? Amanda Knox. No denial. No denial. Immediately accusation. You can accuse me of anything you want. I have no problem with that. But you gotta give me a reliable denial first. Oh, I love this one. I love you guys' comments. You see, this is what I need when I get people messaging me about, oh, this is what I need, people. This is what I love. And that's also why I want to make more videos now, because I don't want people to uh, get sidetracked by the wrong people. You see, Logan said she's not an animal person and compared, very, very good comment, and surprisingly by these nuts. Uh, but I know who you are. I saw you before in live chat. I know you make, your comments are very dead on. Logan said she's not an animal person and compared the kids to animals. Is that leakage that Logan didn't like the children? 100%. 100%. You see, I missed that part, people. Yes. Logan shares a brain with Danny. Yeah, kind of. I mean, she's an extension. She thinks she is sort of like his lawyer, or I have no idea. Spokesperson, hello Mike. I keep hearing about those wings. They were put in after the children went missing. Not sure what you're talking about. I didn't notice that. I need to go back and look. But I did find. Oh, the swings? Yeah, swings, sorry. Really? I haven't paid attention to this part, but I will. You see, back with when the Sebastian Rogers case was still hot, there was I realized something. We had the 3 a.m. video, but then started all the sidetracking and rumors and the claims that it was a trash truck and all, and I realized something. I let information come to me, concrete information, meaning I will not go out of my way try to find the sources. I ignore everything unless the source is coming to me. And it has to happen very organically. So that is the only way for me not to miss the important parts of any type of um, statement that comes my way. Maybe Malaya looked guilty because she called her mother before law enforcement. That's possible too. And Janie and Daniel would have been mad, not saying Malaya is not responsible for what. Oh, she is absolutely. I don't think she will ever do any time because she's double protected. And she's not going to do time. I don't believe that. Not even, you know. But maybe they will put a lot of pressure on her and she will have to sing like a canary. So, you know, instinctively calling the police. She talked about that. Remember? About calling. I believe her instinct told her to call the police at a time when maybe the children's lives could have been saved. I believe that is leakage, and she had the power to save either both of their lives or at least one of their lives. Remember what she said in these early statements? Should I listen to it again? Too boring, right? We already listened to it. But guess what? Every time, the more I learn, every single time I listen to Malaya's statements, the early ones, I hear more and more. Odd cadence, absolutely, man. Very, very weird. Jack never said a word after that. Did I miss this? Janie's dog didn't have anxiety over Jack and Lilly. The poor dog had high anxiety over being locked up in that small RV with that crazy woman. Yes, I agree. And the dog probably would have rather played with the children. And yes, I just realized your name, Mari Sankar. Thank you for these comments. These are, wow. But I cannot find it. And she said again, somebody has pool equals water. Yeah, there we go. Pool, swimming pool. Water, 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 water. Okay, your comment was, and again, you're using a name. Oh, thank you for the donation. Cool. Thank you, guys. Um, you, ma'am, K, IK3L, blah, 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 blah. You're the one. Why don't I find your other comment now? It was such a good one. Maybe Janie was raking over blood evidence. Possibly Daniel is the rock. Your comment was suggesting that maybe Daniel purposefully is making these water references to get us sidetracked, to sort of. So one thing I immediately remembered was the Dunning-Kruger effect, and I hate referencing anything, by the way, because I prefer to actually explain it. But in case somebody wants to read more on that, the Dunning-Kruger effect, I mean, it shows that people with low ability in a specific area tend to overestimate their competence, right? So oftentimes the dumb people, they feel smart and they feel like they have the right to speak up a lot. And thank God my comment section is not like that, because in most YouTube channels that I see, that's exactly how it is over there. That people, you know, you see the comments are the worst. The people who shouldn't comment, they are commenting. And the ones who have something to say are full of doubt. That's also part of it. People who, people with high ability in a domain may underestimate their competence, absolutely. But there was another part. Yeah, I mean, the more you know you don't know, right? Right. So, the other part was people with a high intellect tend to overestimate other people's abilities because it's hard for us to realize, it's hard for us to imagine that something that comes easy to us could be so difficult to others. So, in the case of both Chris Proudfoot and Daniel Martell, the question I often asked myself was, is he really that stupid? Also with Janie, could he really be that dumb? No. Maybe he's trying to trick us. So when you said, maybe Daniel is using all these water references, he's throwing them all in because he wants us to be on the wrong track. No, he's not smart enough for that. No, absolutely not. I asked myself that when I started studying statement analysis many times. Oh my God, could it be that simple? And the answer is yes, but not in every single case. So I am not going after the easy. I'm not here to tell you, okay, this guy's deceptive and there and here. Here are, 10 minutes worth the examples, and what does it tell us? I don't know. Let's move on. No, people, no, I'm not interested in that. What I'm interested in is not only showing where people are deceptive, but much rather being able to tell what exactly is being said. Great comment and great suggestion. And I actually, when I first started out, later I watched Peter Hyatt a lot because I was able then to also compare to cases in the public eye and apply it. And I couldn't believe how simple it is. And I don't understand how people watch channels where there are guesses, blatant guesses. Because once you can Once you realize, understand, and in a second nature type of way, become able to see through the lies, you can never go back. You can never go back to guessing and wondering. You will always look for the right statements. So let's actually go right to Sunny's channel. And this is from Daniel.
Okay. So we'll start off by saying, so I basically sent him that screenshot.
I missed it, by the way.
And then he said, listen, Sonny, remember the other day Belinda asked investigators, do you have any suspect? Investigators said no. I asked investigators about what him and Belinda talked about, and he told me everything. Then I brought it up.
Wait. So listen, Sonny, remember the other day Belinda asked investigators, do you have any suspects? Investigators said no. They have to say that. Unless they have proof and evidence. I asked investigators about what him and Belinda talked about. Can you believe that? This is very similar to Mr. Proudfoot, right? He wants to know what Seth knows. Daniel wants to know. He wants to stay on top of things because he's worried. I asked investigators about what him and Belinda talked about, and he told me everything. No, he didn't. He's trying to make it sound like he's buddy-buddy with police. He didn't tell you everything. He may have said, hey, I told you everything, dude, but he didn't tell you everything. Then I brought up that she put the statement that RCMP have no suspects. He then goes on telling me that he regrets telling her that because she thought she would keep it to herself. Anything to make Belinda look bad now. And they're both doing that, Malaya and Daniel. Belinda no longer makes it she was very careful in the beginning. Remember? Very careful with whom she accuses or what she expresses and everything like that, right? She was extremely careful with that. Now, I don't know if I don't know if she made a very direct statement, but you can tell from her statements, they're pretty obvious. Her eyes are on three people, Janie, Daniel, and Malaya. So of course, these guys want to discredit Belinda. Can you imagine if I said, wait a minute, she put the statement that RCMP have no suspects. Well, officially they don't have any suspects. Of course they have suspects, but officially they don't. And why wouldn't Belinda be allowed to say that? The problem would be if one cop told her, listen, we officially cannot speak about it, but in reality we all suspect Daniel hurt the children. If she said that, then maybe the guy would say, she broke my trust, I will never tell her anything again. But to say we have no suspects, this is BS, people. This is smokescreening. This is Daniel attacking with something that isn't even... What the hell, man? This is all the way Chris Proudfoot style once again. Oh my goodness. And he's going there. Full speed ahead, people. Full speed ahead. Okay, I'm just making sure. Sorry. Can you guys still see? Okay. Wow. Ain't that something? He then goes on telling me that he regrets telling her because he thought she. Can you imagine if I said that? I thank Belinda for that. Darren was so close to talking to Malaya a month ago, but Cindy and the family said nope. Us three on the property did not harm the kids. No, only one of you. I'm suspecting you. I said it just a few minutes ago. I said that I think there's a good possibility the kids could have been saved. And Malaya didn't do that, even though instinctively she thought about it. When I say I cooperate with major crimes, I really do. The term really, whenever somebody says really, they're already trying too hard to convince. Remember when Janie said, I really don't have any pictures of my grandchildren either, except I do have quite a few they're sending to me. This is already a flag right here, just the really part. The need to convince us. His facts cannot stand on their own. I tell them everything, I mean everything, twice everything. Again, trying too hard. For example, so when somebody is being asked, okay, your wife just passed away and there's foul play suspected, how was your relationship with her? If he says it was good or it was okay, we don't flag that. It was very good. Really? Let's find out what your friends are saying or your family members are saying. And I can already, there's a good chance they will say, what? They had a lot of problems. That's already a little bit much. But when somebody says it was excellent, it was very, very good, it was glorious, like Mr. Scott Peterson said, who unalived his pregnant wife. Glorious. When they're trying too hard, I tell them everything. I mean everything. No, you're not. You're not telling us everything. You keep running away, and I pointed it out. You're a hit and runner. As Sonny put it, you are a gopher. You come, you make your statements, and then you avoid. You avoided all of my statements, except one about the water references. And of course, you didn't address me directly because you didn't want to acknowledge me, but you felt the need to tell me that the water references come from having seen the people search in water. But that is bogus because you told us about yourself waist deep in water. I tell them every time I come in close proximity to Malaya for court or CPS. I tell them if I'm going to no service areas. We don't care about, they don't need to be in touch with you all the time for everything. He wants to make it seem like he's on top of everything. This is a really dumb statement. Really, really dumb. And the sensitive area is, of course, I tell them nothing. That's what this teller is telling me. I don't tell them, and we know that already. You don't tell us. When I say cooperate, he doesn't cooperate at all.
That she put the statement that RCMP have no suspects. He then goes on to tell me that he regrets telling her that because he thought that she would keep it to herself. Can you imagine if I said that? I thank Belinda for that. Darren was so close to talking with Malaya about a month ago, but
It's not important. It's a bogus statement. They themselves say we have no suspects. Listen to this dude, man.
Cindy and the family said, nope, us three on the property did not harm the kids. When I say I cooperate with major crimes, I really do. I tell them everything. I mean everything. I tell them everything every time I come in close proximity to Malaya for court or CPS. I tell them if I'm going to no service. Now, I want to say in to this as well that Darren was called in himself. And basically, the investigators had said the same thing to him. Okay, so it wasn't just say Belinda; it was Darren as well. And so, let's go on to the next one.
Please.
Okay. Okay, so this one's lengthy.
Good.
Come on. I don't know why all of a sudden it's doing that. Oh, really? You're going to mess with me, are you?
You can
Canva, you little bugger. Hold on. Let me hit my refresh on my Canva. It obviously wants to play
Holy
around
crap,
with
this
me
is
a
a
little
lot.
bit.
Okay, so in the end, it's I guess there's gonna be some comments here. Daniel's probably in chat.
Okay.
I will check this later as well. There's a lot of material.
This is a long one, okay? This is all, you guys, one text. Both sides of the page is one message, I should say, on the messenger, okay? This one, maybe I'll make it like, let me see here. Maybe I'll make it where I take the banner off of this side of this one, just to make it clear, okay? Okay, so this one says, I tell them everything. I tell them about everything, Kent. I have them watching your show, Jim Walker, which is Tint, Alana King, which you guys know who Alana is by now.
I don't.
I give them any locations the kids could possibly be. I gave them DNA. I was the one who insisted that the blanket was important to the case. Major Crimes kept telling me it was.
Oh, no, you were not. Didn't he tell us in the very beginning that he doesn't think it's Lily's blanket?
Wasn't. But look now, the blanket is being sent to forensics. I can't share information on the forensics, but I will. But I was given info.
I know they're telling you everything, right? Because they trust you. Remember, he said also about in the beginning that supposedly police told him, we know you had nothing to do with it. But then later, the moment he thought he passed the polygraph, he said, oh, they told him, we know you killed Jack and Lilly. So all of this is unreliable. All of this. He wants to make it seem like they're telling him everything because he wants us to believe that he is not a suspect. And his message is, you don't have a right to suspect me either because police doesn't, which of course is false.
I also have information on cadaver dogs, but was told not to share.
Of course you are not to share. What do you mean you have information on cadaver dogs? Were they at the house or not? It's simple.
Sonny, the RCMP.
So he's trying to make us think like there was a huge cadaver dog search and they did. He is trying to make it sound like they have done everything to put him under the microscope, and he wants to seem like he was cleared. Now, Belinda told us very reliably that Cody was officially cleared. And of course, why wouldn't he be? He wasn't there. And he had nothing, and he didn't, care about the kids. And again, it's very hard to imagine, but we cannot project our own feelings on other people. We have to accept them for who they are. And they're telling us who they are. So if you think that Daniel cannot be that stupid And he does these water references to sidetrack us because the kids are really in the woods and all of, no, 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 no. He is like that, and so is Janie, and so is Logan. Everything I know, everything that later came out about how bad the relationship was, Logan already told me that through her statements. The moment I heard Logan's interview, I already knew what was going on inside of the house. She made this very, very clear. And they are like that. They overestimate their own abilities to lie. I personally hate to lie. And I always did, even when I was a child. But I knew children who loved to lie, or so it seemed. It was part of their daily patterns, their hourly patterns, if you will. I was also very good at lying. And I wasn't a snitch. So when I felt, okay, I don't want to get in trouble because other kids we did it together, but I'm not going to talk about that. I don't want to, I'm not going to be the one that, you, the teacher, can use to make yourself look good, like you're a major detective or something like that, and then lose my friends over something. I'm not doing it, right? I was very good at lying, actually. And I sort of, I know some of you, pick up on things intuitively. And when you have enough self-awareness, you understand how you come off. But Daniel doesn't have that. Daniel overestimates his abilities. And he thinks he's very smart. And so does Logan and Janie. Janie, who said he's yapping too much. But look at her. Self-righteousness. All of that combined. Let's hear.
Statements put out there.
Daniel Martell is convinced he's doing well, and for the life of him cannot imagine why people still suspect him. So he thinks the more he talks, the better. But no, that's not how it works, dude. That's absolutely not how it works. And attacking Belinda, yeah, no surprise. Trying to discredit her. Belinda is steadfast while you, Janie, and Malaya are weaseling around. And she is no longer pretending not to know, not to suspect. She's letting it all hang out. She is fed up. She is fed up with 3 people who lie consistently. This lady doesn't think that her grandchildren are still alive. And she is not a hope-based person. A lot of people are hope-based, like Seth Rogers. But that's a very dangerous thing because then you also allow other people to control you with whatever they're saying that may not be correct because you want to believe it. There's a confirmation bias that kicks in. And Janie is 1 in a million. She faces reality as she sees it. She doesn't want to hear what she wants to hear. She wants the truth. She doesn't think Jack and Lilly are still alive, but she wants the truth. And she's disgusted with people like Malaya trying to get their hands on the funds from a fundraiser initiated by a lady. Oh, Lana or Alana? Okay, I guess that's Alana King. Is that her? Lana or Alana? Somebody, and there are people who do the right thing. And then there are people who are hyenas and say, oh, people donate money for my children? Oh. And then she sits around with Haley, and then she sits around with Cheryl, and they're probably, oh my God, how much money you think is coming in? Ooh. Well, why don't we say that it goes into, why don't we put it into Cheryl's account, because she is not 34,000 in debt. The bank won't take it, or it won't go to any, you know what I mean? Put it in her account. Wow, we're gonna have some cash, dude. Yeah.
I know a few days in advance. I was supposed to take a second round of polygraph exams.
Uh-oh. A second round. Let me see. Where am I? Okay, Sunny, the RCMP statements put out, I know a few days in advance. These RCMP statements are not telling us anything, right? And they themselves are being deceptive, which a lot of spokespeople, persons, press people, uh, publicists, and politicians tend to be. They have their thoughts and information pieces, but they don't want to reveal them. So, of course, the RCMP doesn't mind the bogus statements that they release, because they have to. But he wants to, again, make it look like he's on the inside. And they are angry supposedly because Belinda said that they have no. Oh my God, can you believe this dude? He thinks he's doing well. Statement put out. I know a few days in advance, I was supposed to take a second round of polygraph exams, but when I asked, when they said they were no longer necessary, when I asked, listen to this sentence. I was supposed to take a second round of polygraph exams, but when I asked, when they said they were no longer necessary. So when I asked, this sentence doesn't make any sense, right?
When I was asked, when they say that they were no longer.
That's not what he's saying. Look at this. But when I asked, see, this is the habit. This is what we often do. That's what Sunny's doing right now. She is not reading verbatim. She is correcting him, actually. But in statement analysis, we cannot do that. She said, when I was asked. I don't know if you guys see it. I will later make it a bigger screenshot. But when I asked, you see that? I was supposed to take a second round of polygraph exams, but when I asked, when they said they were, when a sentence doesn't make sense, we stop right before it stops making sense. So he started saying, I was supposed to take a second round of polygraph exams, but when I asked, so you asked. That is the important part. And he doesn't finish the same thought. When you asked, what did they tell you and how did you ask? And why did you ask? And did you ask, or did you say, do I really have to do this? I really don't feel good, and maybe I'm very emotional right now, and this, and so why did they want you to take a second round? So something was not right with this polygraph. And I do believe that maybe they even watched my channel, and I pointed out that the statements, the questions that Daniel says they asked were not good questions. They shouldn't say, did you kill Jack and Lilly? They should ask, did you kill Jack? Did you kill Lilly? Two separate questions, not one question. Obviously, something was wrong with this polygraph examination. Daniel is a blatant liar. So he, of course, wanted to make it seem like he passed. He was glowing. He thought he passed. They may have told him, yeah, you're doing all right. Just get out of here. keep talking to the media. Maybe just keep yapping, as Wade suggested. Very good, by the way. Very, very good. So, oh my gosh, he probably, whatever it is, when I asked, very likely he complained. When they said they were no longer necessary. And maybe they recognized what they wanted to know more about. Maybe they are being worn down. I have absolutely no idea. He didn't want to take these polygraph tests. And he said 3 days later, they said, you don't, the number 3. Oh, there's another number 3 thing. Let's hear it.
Necessary. I asked why, but they declined to answer and skirted past my question. Sunny, major crimes.
Okay. I asked why, but they declined to answer and skirted past the question. Sunny, major crimes works around the clock and they a lot of overtime. Now he's trying to teach us about major crimes, like he's a specialist, like he's on the inside. That's how he wants to portray himself. The same way with the searches. He wants to portray himself as being basically an active investigator who couldn't have done anything.
Works around the clock. And they
Jeez.
Oh, and they do, I guess, a lot of overtime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the last month, investigators have only came to me in person one time.
Yes. I thought you were best buddies with them.
You know, in the last month, investigators have... wait, I already read that. I go to them 3 times a week.
The number 3.
You know what? I'm going to freaking put on my glasses for this. I swear I need them for this one. Okay. Wait, 1 second. I'm going to get my glasses.
Do it.
1 sec.
Should I make this a little bit bigger here or what? Can you see?
Okay.
Can you see? Can
No,
you
that's
see?
more but let's see there. Okay. All I'm saying is...
Why is it so dark?
Not easy being the main target. But if I'm the target, then the parties involved need to make only one mistake.
Oh my God. All I'm saying is it's not easy being the main target. How about suspect? But if I'm the target, then the parties involved need to make only one mistake. What? They need to only make one mistake. And then what? Are you hoping that they will make mistakes? One major mistake? And you're off the hook? You see, they're treading very carefully, the RCMP. They don't want to make mistakes. The last thing they want is to arrest him, and then based on a technicality, they have to let him go and can never prosecute him. That is their worry. Their worry is that he can eventually claim that his rights were violated. And I'm not an expert on Canadian law, but I think, well, that's what some people have told me, how important it is to not so much, the focus is not, of course, the goal is to crack the case, but the focus is less on the goal and more on the procedure, which has to be airtight, because otherwise the goal is not going to be met. They have to be able to prove why they started looking at him. They have to share. They can be torn apart in court if they don't do this the right way, if they get ahead of themselves with the probable causes and everything else that is needed. They need to make just one mistake. And Daniel, I also helped trying to come up with every possible situation the kids could be in, such as the area probably isn't urban because risk factors are too great and the kids couldn't go outside with a fucking what?
I also helped try to come up with every possible situation the kids could be in, such as the area probability isn't urban because risk factors are too great and the kids couldn't go outside without a fucking sin. Huh. That a fucking sin.
A fucking sin. The kids couldn't go outside with, or does he say which is a fucking sin? You sinner. Urban. No, we don't think it's urban at all. You don't live in an urban area. And of course they're out there in nature. What is this?
Huh. Not sure what that's supposed to mean actually. Without a fuck. Then, Charmaine, do you know what that means?
Which is a fucking sin?
And the kids couldn't go outside, I think was a fucking sin. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I was going to say negative. I don't know, but that's probably right. But
okay, let me read it again. I want to get hung up on this area, on this part, because risk factors are too great. So this is something that was on his mind when he got rid of Jack and Lilly. The area probably isn't urban because risk factors are too great. He was worried to be seen on camera. And he knew the back roads. He knew how to get where he needed to get. And he made sure he would avoid cameras. These risk factors were on his mind the whole time, my friends.
Yeah, was a fucking sin. Yeah. The individual or individuals that do that to the kids are probably older or retired, possibly due to the fact that they can supervise the kids without working.
You idiot. You mean someone like you who isn't working, who had time at night to get rid of the children? Look at this guy profiling. But he wants somebody older or retired. Don't look at me because I'm still 30. Look at somebody, individual. So he's now making stuff up that is just as far away, as far removed from him as possible. He's suddenly the profiler, and the profiles he creates are profiles that are in contrast to him. They're nothing like him, right?
If they do work there, they would have to be a SWAT in supervising the kids, or the other option is there is a couple that has the kids so that they are supervised without the need for phone calls or message that leave a possible trail of evidence.
Do I need to get into this?
I've helped since day one.
Now again, trying to make himself look like he is the lead investigator.
I did not hide all the leaked stuff on the case came from me. I slowly leaked it over time to keep the kids in the news so they wouldn't be forgotten. No one sees what I'm doing behind the scenes, Sonny. That's what I'm trying to say too. It breaks my heart to see all of this. It also breaks my heart. I know things, but I can't speak out on because it will harm the investigation.
No, it wouldn't.
Another thing, Commander of Operations.
The police is telling you the same garbage they're telling the general public. We have no evidence. We have no. Sorry, this is the only information I can give. Yes, we're still on the case. Yes, we're reviewing the. Yes, yes, yes. It's empty, blah, blah, blah. And that's what they're sharing with you. And they're sharing so little that you are the one supposedly going down there because you want to know what they're looking at because you're worried. So you come up with all kind of crap. Look for some old retired people, a couple, anybody that has the kids. But of course, this doesn't make any sense. The only possibility what happened at the house, in the trailer, and Daniel removed the kids. If they had been taken, why would it be a couple and the whole world is looking for these children? And nobody has seen them, nobody noticed anything? Why? Trafficking but trafficking is very low in Canada from what I understand. Or was it Logan that made these claims? He is coming up with complete bogus, man. Just because he wants to insert himself into the case and sidetrack. Fill in the blanks, like Chris Proudfoot would say.
Me aside after the day Malaya left and told me, "We now see you as the primary guardian for the kids, and everything we tell you is more detailed and much longer than the 2-minute phone calls that we have with Malaya." Now, I'm not going to lie, I remember exactly him saying that almost verbatim.
Yeah, because Malaya doesn't want to talk. She probably, really? Oh, wow. Okay, 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 bye. Yeah, of course, he's a yapper. He's a talker, man. I knew people who done Beth, and they would talk and talk and talk. Anyways.
About that. I went up to the command center every day for a briefing. And on the last day of the search, commander of operations of the search and rescue pulled me aside one-on-one and said to me, "Daniel, we brought in classified technology. We got approval from the federal government. And I'm so sorry, Daniel, we don't believe that they are in the woods." Every day I walk outside, Sunny, I have a grim reminder of May 2nd. I see
They were never in the woods, man. That's a given. They are in water.
colorful ribbons by the thousands. I did all those camera interviews for what? For what, Sunny? Not fun, that's for sure. I lost every.
Not fun? Are you sure? I lost everything. What did you have that you lost? Okay, you cannot see your children. Yeah, of course, but that's all has to do with your ex-wife, right? Boy, would I love to interview her.
Everything from the disappearance. I can't spend time with my.
I lost everything from the disappearance. Well, we know you hated Jack and Lilly, so that was not a loss to you. And he's blaming this disappearance the same way Janie is doing. When she's crying because of the consequences, not because of Jack and Lilly.
Kids, I'm torn apart on the internet, but one thing still remains.
I don't tear people apart. That's not my goal. I don't have confirmation bias. When people told me, oh, Malaya may have postpartum depression because I know about it, my sister had it, or what have you. No, I don't operate like that. I let you tell me. You're the one. Everything that I am the reaction to your action. I react to what you state. accordingly. So I don't wander around and speculate and say, oh, okay, maybe, well, Daniel said this, Daniel said that, and I guess so, and maybe not. Oh, I'm getting some good messages here from you guys. Wow, I like it very much. Thank you for that. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of messages now. Sandra, thank you. Let's get through this, right?
When Meadow grows up, she will see her dad do lots for her sister and brother. He didn't hide. Even my other two kids wanted.
Yeah, the impact on Meadow. Sister and brother, who? Jack and Lilly? He didn't hide. He doesn't want Meadow to grow up and say, my dad hurt my brother and sister. That is on his mind. So he has a lot to lose in that regard. That's why, even though police don't really want to tell him anything, and we know that because he is trying so hard to convince us they're telling him everything, he is very focused on the public, man. And I've stated it before, mob mentality is not something that I like, ever. But I will ask questions when he shows up in these chats and makes statements that are deceptive. I will point it out and say, hold on, dude. You're doing a lot of water references right here. And I know you can read me because you read from, you acknowledged that only person who at one point made one supportive post comment about Daniel. He got into that right away. He read everything.
And much longer than the 2-minute phone calls that we have with Malaya. Now, I'm not going to lie, I remember exactly him saying that almost verbatim about that. I went up to the command center every day for a briefing. And on the last day of the search, commander of operations of the search and rescue pulled me aside one-on-one and said to me, Daniel, we brought in classified technology. We got approval from the federal government. And I'm so sorry, Daniel, we don't believe that they are in the woods. Every day I walk outside, Sunny, I have a grim reminder of May 2nd. I see colorful ribbons by the thousands.
May 2nd. No, it was actually May 1st that something happened. But he wants to remind us, he wants us to look at May 2nd.
I did all those camera interviews for what, Sonny? Not fun, that's for sure. I lost everything from the disappearance.
Okay.
I can't spend time with my kids. I'm torn apart on the internet. But one thing still remains. When Meadow grows up, she will see her dad do lots for her sister and brother. He didn't hide. Even my other two kids wanted to help. Me. Let's see. Hold on. Didn't help me. Oh wait, part of this.
So I guess the comments were not very important at the time.
Brother, and asked us. Okay, so not sure if I'm missing a sentence there on that, but anyways, okay. I just don't want to be. My two kids wanted. Just give me a second on this. Wanted to help me. Okay, one second, guys. I want to just make sure that I don't want to miss anything on that. Okay.
Okay.
One sec. Stop. Go back.
Look at this. Might be wearing a pink sweater. Look at this, man. Jack's physical description: age 4, height, short, blondish hair. Last seen wearing blue dinosaur boots. Can you believe that? That's what he was wearing. And what else, dude? And for Lily, as for Lily, might be wearing pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots. Might be. No coat. They didn't want to make it up because they. Wow, man.
Smaller.
That's so deep.
Because usually I try to show. Oh no. Okay. No. I had it right, guys. Okay.
Okay.
That's perfect. Let me bring that back up.
Okay.
I was having a
Brain fart.
moment.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, why is there this really bad lag? Okay. I'm getting a really bad lag.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Stop screen.
Okay.
My goodness. There's a bad lag going on with Canva or StreamYard. Let's see if I can do it. Share screen. Let's go back there. Everything's everything.
This has to be two videos, guys.
So I left off here and my brother, okay? And my brother. So I did show the next line. Wait. How come it's not showing it to you guys? There's a lag. Are you guys feeling this lag?
I'm not a patient person, as you can tell. Let me see when she continues. You're doing great, Sonny.
Showing it to you guys. There's a lag. Are you guys feeling this lag?
What?
No, not really. Not today.
Nothing?
Usually I am, but today's good for me.
Okay. Well, it's just when it's just StreamYard then, because it's like it took like a good 30 seconds for that to populate on the screen. But okay, no problem. As long
Let's
as
go
we're good
through
to
it.
go
Let's
now.
finish this
So
part.
you guys can see my brother then and my brother. So okay, so commanders of operations came to me privately and my brother and asked us if anything could be improved on. First thing my brother said is, why the fuck, whatever, was there a young kid around a search area with missing kids, and his tracks could have caused false evidence.
Oh, okay.
That blanket was not in the tree that morning. I drove up that road, my father and 3 of my uncles. The searchers and the...
So all the speculations that the blanket may have been planted up in the tree, I don't buy it, man. I mean, I don't know. No, I'm not going there. I know that I believe it was possibly lost when they transported the children. I'm not, there is something very important about this blanket. So my thought is that it probably was removed together with the children. It was 3 or 4 feet high. So when you're here up in the tree, let's make sure 3 or 4 feet high. Not more than that. But the fact that he felt the need to talk about it. Okay, Janie talked about the only part of the blanket I had any contact with. She didn't remove the children. That was Daniel. What role did she play? Maybe she participated, but maybe she stayed behind and raked away the evidence. That was her job. Maybe she went through the house. Maybe she cleaned up certain parts. She did a lot. When she told us she was raking, I can't believe she actually gave it away. So that, well, let's keep going because I want to get through this and I will make another video.
RCMP did as well. My neighbor walked up to the road 2 days prior. The narrative may be shifted at me by everyone on the other side, but I'm not going to bash Malaya. If she wanted out, that's fine. If it was a huge plan developed by your friends, so be it. Malaya never hung out with.
She hadn't been in contact with her friends. And I believe them. They didn't talk to her for 2 years. Because they were a bad influence on her. He isolated her. See, this is this garbage, man.
Cheryl before the disappearance. Malaya and Cheryl.
What? What'd you say? No, sorry. 40, 37, that's not where I want to be. Okay.
My neighbor walked up to the road 2 days prior. The narrative may be shifted at me by everyone on the.
My neighbor.
Other side, but I'm not going to bash Malaya.
What about your neighbor walking up to the other side? What is that all about, Daniel?
Came to me privately and my brother and asked us if anything could be improved on. First thing my brother said is, why the fuck, whatever, was there a young kid around a search area with missing kids, and his tracks could have caused false evidence. That blanket was not in the tree that morning. I drove up that road, my father and 3 of my uncles. The searchers and the RCMP did as well. My neighbor walked up to the road 2 days prior. The narrative may be shifted at.
What about your neighbor? What are you trying to say here? The neighbor that said there was a rock party, and the neighbor who supposedly takes stuff from your property, or what?
Me by everyone on the other side.
Okay. So you're blaming somebody else for you being a suspect. Not your own statement, not your own behavior, not the fact that nothing makes sense, right?
But I'm not going to bash Malaya. If she wanted out, that's fine.
I'm not going to bash Malaya. Okay, but you did.
Fine. If it was a huge plan developed by your friends, so be it. Malaya never hung out with Cheryl before the disappearance.
Of course not, because you didn't want it.
Malaya and Cheryl, Shelby and Haley, blocked on her phone, and she blocked them on mine as well. Well, Sonny, you have a story.
Okay, so did you tell her you need to block your friends right now? I don't believe you. I think that you... Let me see your phone. Remember what Logan said about them being open? He demanded to see her phone. I can guarantee you that. He made sure she had no contact with people that he didn't want her to have contact with. Yes, these types of dudes exist. Do they ever?
Right? Take what you want from it. I'll get Dan. I'll get Daniel, basically, what the fuck are you doing from the investigators? But I always will have or had a warrior spirit. I don't hide. Investigators told me just live your life, and saying some of this perhaps is small, a small start. Okay. Always remember, I'll remain the target as long as it takes. This case isn't calming down, and I don't think it should, but the results are not where they need to be. And
that's true.
It only hurts Jack and Lilly. I also wanted to give...
No, it doesn't. You hurt Jack and Lilly. Don't tell us what hurts Jack and Lilly, because they're no longer with us. We want answers. So this is just like Chris Proudfoot did with Sebastian. Every time it gets inconvenient, that's when he reminds us, oh, by the way, this is about Sebastian, right? So why are you asking me these questions? We are asking you because you are the key, because you have the answers. What is his message? Leave me alone. That's his message. Leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Please don't look at me. He's a chaotic dude and not a patient person either. So this long writing, telling us absolutely nothing, was created because Sunny, called him a gopher. I called him a hit and runner. And the more he was yapping one-liners within the chat, the live chat, the more I said, dude, it's time for you to answer questions. Because we know you're lurking all the time. We know you cannot stay away from live chat. We know that. You're not good at pretending you're not involved. So don't give us some sidetracking and some one-liners and some complete nonsense. Answer some questions here. So I guess he decided to sit down and spend maybe a long time on this one.
A little advice that could help parents out there. During school days, on a calendar, write a description of your outfit your kids are wearing.
Okay, BS. Parents tend to know what their kids are wearing because parents of a 4 and a 6-year-old tend to be the ones dressing their children. And they pick out the clothing in the morning and say, okay, yes, I remember. I put the pink shirt on her and I put this on her and then him. You idiot. We don't have to write this down. I'm not the one getting my daughter dressed. Usually. But when I am, I remember exactly what she gets on. Because it's every other item I hold up, she's like, I don't want that. I don't want that. Where is this and that? And oh, it's in the laundry. Well, everything is a big drama there, right? Just so I stay out of it. But I remember what my daughter is wearing. If I am the one. So one of you guys needs to remember exactly what you helped them get dressed in. If you say Malaya was the one who gotten them to bed, then she knows what they went to bed in. And interestingly, none of you took the time to get them dressed in the morning because they were already gone. They had on whatever they had on when they were on their way to go to bed. So this is normalizing. He's trying to normalize the fact that he doesn't want to tell us what the kids were wearing.
I woke up one day and my life was changed forever. I gained...
The victim, right? All you did is wake up one day.
Absolutely nothing.
And avoiding complete responsibility.
From their disappearance of Lily and Jack. Lost access to all my kids. Mom gained nothing from the disappearance.
Mom gained nothing. Why you feel the need to tell us that? That doesn't mean you were not involved. It doesn't mean your mom wasn't involved. Well, she gained quiet on the property because her doggy had anxiety. Of course, in hindsight, both of you realize that, it didn't work out quite as well because there are consequences, which are the consequences you're crying over. But at least he gotten some good advice. Stop attacking Malaya. It's going to hurt you. Because if you put too much pressure on Malaya, she may snap and just tell. But Malaya only gave him hints. You're talking too much. It makes you look guilty. And he won't stop doing that.
She looked
Jesus.
after and did more for the kids than Malaya's family. My whole family did everything they could during the search. Anyways, that's one long screenshot right there. Freaking hey, it was too. It's a short story. My family sat me down after
It's a story, people. A story, a fabrication.
she abandoned the search and explained to me, Daniel, they're not in the woods. The RCMP said it's not an abduction, meaning that the individuals involved are known to the kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's left only three options:
Yes.
me and my family, Malaya and her family, and friends, or the wood.
What? Me and my family. 1, 2. Me and my family, Malaya and her family and friends, or the woods. How about you, Malaya and Janie? How about especially you? And it leaves 3 options. 3, the number 3 again. He's a storyteller. And why are you bringing back the woods? Because you just told us they're not in the woods, and we know that. Especially with advanced technology, they're not there. They were never there. But you still want to throw out this possibility to confuse people.
I went over the conversation I had earlier with the commander of operations for ground search and rescue about the kids. I'm done rambling. There's your content for the next few days. And then there's this personal inside joke that says, sorry, top dog. That's an inside joke. And so, again, if you guys are just joining us, please, again, we are here for Jack and Lilly. This is Daniel.
Like and share for Jack and
opening
Lilly.
up, and as you guys can see, that was one text. That thing took about an hour for him to type that on there. So Jack and Lilly is what we're here for.
But dude, why, when you are in chat, why won't you answer specific questions? So too bad I wasn't there for this.
That like and share for Jack and Lilly. Now, I will bring us back this way. Give me a second. Put my banner back on. Because that was one big text. All right. So there we go. Okay.
Well, I will do a lot more on this, guys.
Let's see here. So we'll go on to the next one.
Okay.
And so what's that? Number 2. So number 3. Okay. And I'll make that bigger again. Okay.
Okay.
So you always said it's about Jack and Lilly. I'm not saying it's not, but someone has them, Sonny, and it's certainly not me or anyone I have contact with. I'm not a bad person, Sonny. It's everyone has different perspective.
I'm not a bad person. You know what? When people want to label themselves or label others, they are avoiding the specific area of interest. So if I tell you I am not a bad person, there is a reason why I feel the need to tell you that and make you believe that. I'm hiding something if I say this. Or if I say I am a good person. That is often hiding an agenda or something I feel gives you the reason to think of me otherwise. I didn't do anything. I had nothing to do. He said us 3 didn't hurt the children. Us 3. He feels the need to include Malaya and Janie. Remember how Chris Proudfoot always feels the need to include Seth whenever he's denying some involvement or knowledge? I is what I want to hear. I didn't do it. I had nothing to do with it. I need a clear denial from you, which you have yet to give, Daniel Martell. The only denial you gave to a reporter was unreliable.
On life and experiences individuals and have and the upbringing.
Okay, I'm not a bad person, Sonny. It's everyone has a different perspective on life and the experiences individuals have and the upbringing. Yeah, I know how you were brought up, probably. Probably in a very chaotic manner with a very chaotic woman.
It takes a lot for someone to change their beliefs, and I'm not saying they have to.
I'm not talking about beliefs, facts. He wants us to believe something. And he doesn't give us any facts that change our views.
Everyone is entitled to what they want.
You patronizing idiot. Everyone is entitled. I know what I'm entitled to. Entitled is not the right term. Entitlement is what I have already suggested you have a sense of. Because you've been using the system, you've been getting money for Jack and Lilly, you feel entitled to control Malaya's life. You feel entitled to take her phone away from her. You feel entitled to look through her phone. You feel entitled to tell her not to contact her friends. You feel entitled. Entitlement is what you're all about. I am not entitled. I don't need to justify what I'm doing. And I am not attacking. I'm only saying, not so fast, my brother, because you have not given us a reliable denial. I want you to tell me, I didn't have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly. So if anybody is in chat with him again, please ask him, did you have anything to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lilly? And see how he replies. Ask the question again until he is able to give you a reliable denial, which he won't be able to do. And if he says, we didn't have anything to do with it, that's not a denial. He has to say, I didn't remove the children. Did you remove the children from your home? Or don't say the children, say, did you remove Jack and Lilly from their home? On Thursday, we need direct questions, people. He's yapping around the bush. And he's making a long sermon here. Because he wants to avoid these questions. He could have answered these questions the whole time I was in the chat. And it was not just me, it was other people too. And yes, some people, they were on attack, right? Which I didn't do. You took their life, shame on you. Okay, I don't do that. I don't argue. I may say back off when people are trying too hard to change what they think I shouldn't be saying. But there will always be these people. There will always be people who say, oh, maybe he had a bad upbringing. Yes, your upbringing. Now you're bringing in your upbringing because you didn't have it easy, right? You grew up in a chaotic manner. That's why you're chaotic. Is that what you're telling us? Maybe your mom beat the crap out. Maybe your dad, somebody beat the crap out of you. So you think, okay, that's how I was brought up, so I can do the same with Jack and Lilly. But did you have black eyes when you grew? You're supposed to change the cycle of abuse, but he is again shifting responsibility towards something else, and that is his upbringing. I am a victim of everything. I am a victim of my upbringing, and I'm not a bad person. I would have turned out better had I been brought up in a better manner. I believe you, but you cannot change the past, but you can change the future of two innocent children. It takes a lot for someone to change their... Okay.
To believe, because if we had that, no one would be unique. And
everyone is entitled to what they want to believe. I don't want to believe that you unalive these kids. But I'm convinced, and you convinced me. because if we had that, no one would be unique, and we wouldn't have minds to see every angle of not just this investigation but life. And oh my God, he's sidetracking so much. We don't want every angle. He wants to look at every angle. Even the nonsense that an elderly retired couple, how did they get Jack and Lilly, huh? Oh my God, this dude, man. Look at everything, same like Chris Proudfoot. Just don't look at my mom, and don't look at my wife, and especially don't look at me either. We don't want beliefs, and we don't want every angle. We want to have the right path that leads us to finding out what happened to Jack and Lilly Sullivan.
Wouldn't have minds to see every angle of not just the investigation, but life in general.
You see, now he's philosophizing again. If you make the water muddy with allegations, it's hard to see the truth because the water is all brown. And of course, experiential memory is right there. You see, some people use baseball analogy, but he uses fishing analogy and getting rid of two bodies analogy. Leaked in Deep Thoughts. What was it on SNL? Deep Thoughts by something Hanley. Oh my God. Jack Hanley. Right? Remember that? Long time ago. Oh my goodness, this dude.
I hope the supporters of the show get to see a long form message like this is interesting. It's more in depth.
No, it's not. There's no details.
Just the one line sentences I produced.
Exactly. And that's what I accused you of, the one line sentences. You said it yourself. You produce in the shows. The production part, the presentation, you're worried about it because I pointed it out, and I believe that other one pointed it out as well. Her comments were great in that chat. He said, Daniel isn't going to answer the questions, Mike. Daniel, he just shows up, he throws these one-liners, and then he ignores everything. That's what Daniel does. I know.
In shows. Well, I'll absolutely agree with that. This is by far was a conversation with Daniel that regardless what anyone thinks, it was nice just to have him, spiel off, not just like one.
And you're doing great with that, to keep him talking. And I stand corrected on some things that I said, you know what I mean? Because I think your tactic, even when you say, Daniel, speak your truth, I told you already what I think about the term your truth, but that is actually how a journalist should speak to a person that, they want to get them to talk. So I am actually in awe once in a while. I can't give. Is this now done? No, it's not. Oh, guys, I'm going to do part 2 soon.
Sentence answers like he does in the show, and he just literally just laid it all out there. Okay, guys, for again, whatever you want to take from this, that's totally up to you. I absolutely agree with Daniel on this, right? If we all thought the same way, well, it would be a pretty boring life, right? You need different angles for sure to keep looking at things, and that's why, with Kent and myself and Charmaine.
As a statement analyst, you don't do it. You only travel the path that the statements lead us to, right? And yes, of course, investigators, they look at every single angle, but then you need to also allow yourself to say, I was on the wrong path. This is the right path right now. So, Sunny, he has an agenda, and he wants you to look at every single possibility. Even Malaya, her family and friends, again. I think he finally realized how ridiculous Darren Sturwood's statements have been. So I can imagine you guys sitting together and Durwood saying, well, when Daniel was crying over being attacked, why don't we tell them, Malaya should be the one who, why don't we tell them that maybe they need to look at Malaya a little? Why don't I go on there, make up some stories, and maybe they will forget about you? And they cannot prove it, of course, because the kids are not with Malaya's family, but so nobody's going to be harmed, right? But she needs to do a better job supporting you, and you doing, whatever, man. I can, by the way, everything I'm saying is my opinion only. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Innocent until proven, what was it again? Everybody's innocent until proven guilty in the court of law.
We pop off different ideas, or sometimes they're from you guys in chat. So it would be pretty boring if we all thought the same, and then this case would never go nowhere with thoughts. But anyways, I can't give anything to harm the case. I'm not.
Yeah. It'll harm your case.
Not bashing people anymore.
You're in no position to bash anybody, and you have realized that. That's why you stopped doing it. That's the only reason.
Pour on the allegations, just add that to the pile.
Pour. What do you pour? Liquid.
Another lie will not hurt at this point. One thing you'll never see is my family or friends attacking anyone.
Except they did. Logan did, and Janie did.
Okay? I'm not saying Malaya did it, but leaving in front of the investigators and the RCMP.
I'm not saying. Well, you want to say something.
With a shocking exit wasn't a good idea.
That's it, right? It was not good for you. It made you look guilty. And it raised a lot of questions about your home life in general. Women don't just leave the man they're in love with and happy with just because her mom says, get away from him. You were isolated now. And you didn't have Malaya, your enabler.
Telling Officer Carol Mason that there was no evidence in the home and she felt safest and happiest with me wasn't a good idea.
What?
Considering the allegations, but against me.
Telling Officer Carol Mason there was no violence in the home and she felt safest and happiest with me wasn't a good idea. Did she really say that? Or did Officer Mason say, do you feel safe here? And maybe she said, okay. Are you happy here? Okay. Did she actually say, I feel safest and happiest in this house? Did she actually say that? Considering the allegations, but against me, why wouldn't this be a good idea? This makes absolutely no sense. Had she really felt that way, it would be a great idea to do that, because obviously Carol Mason wanted to know what the home life was like. That's what police officers do. They want to know if there had been anything going on that could have led up to what caused the disappearance of these two beautiful children. Sorry, I need to look at the time right now. I'll go a little bit further, right? Thank you, Heather. Yeah, thank you so much for these screenshots too. And I will use these screenshots. I will put them up later, maybe in my next video. I like to do that. I like to have this on and have the crime and shame women ladies speak to give us more context. I don't want to miss any particular context ever again. So, but I like to do my second rounds. And then I like to get a lot deeper because I always see something new. Even if I do the same statement 7 times, I always see something new. So I have enough content for the next month. But of course, I want to get to the new stuff because that's going to be more interesting. And in the end, all the dots connect. Same with the brown backpack, the white backpack that is probably brown now. And another thing about he doesn't see him have the pull-up on for that long. So when Jack was in the water, did the pull-up rise to the surface when his body was in the water? Was that an area of concern? It getting wet and sort of dissolving, or was he worried about that type of evidence? Maybe it floating to the, that's another thing, an area of interest. The boots, he had to remind himself to get the boots later. He went up to the cabins to go to the kids, through the cabins to the children. And there's a brand new lock on one of these 2 cabins. And he said cabins, not their forts. There are 2 cabins up there. Belinda confirmed that, and one had the brand new lock. And Belinda asked a lot of questions that were very direct, and he avoided them. But then he said, "Thank you, Julie," because one woman said kind things, right? And she said, "Oh, you guys need to leave Daniel alone." Oh my goodness. People. Thank you guys, by the way, if you're still with me. And thank you for bringing this to my attention. And thank you for bringing the good things to my attention, the important things. Sandra, even though, of course I know how to, look in here and say, okay, it starts. When did it start? Okay, here. Actually, did I miss something in the beginning? No, I don't think so. You said 34 is when it really starts. Yeah, absolutely. That was great. Actually, a little bit before that, right? Before, what is this? Oh, I have so many other screenshots. I don't know who this is. I don't care. I don't care about people's, too much about people's comments and when they invite somebody on who's a psychologist or I don't need that. I don't need any of it, by the way. None of it, right? Opinions mean nothing to me. I'm looking for the facts, and Daniel, Malaya, and Janie can give us facts. They were there. And another person should be Justin. Justin, where are you? Justin Martell? Are you on Facebook? Are you anywhere? What are you telling people? Where were you? Aha. So maybe
Logan overheard that conversation. Logan, of course, is the cousin to Daniel, by the way.
So now Logan was willing to help Malaya in any way. Okay, no, she wasn't. She was willing to help you in any way. And that's why she wanted Meadow to have something over Malaya. It would have been the best thing had she said it, that she felt safest and happiest with you. This again makes absolutely. And here, look, considering the allegations, but against me, but not the allegations against me. Considering the allegations against me would have made sense. But the but disrupts that flow. And when that happens, and a pattern is being interfered with, we have a very alarming area in this case. But against me. Do you see that? There was no violence in the home. Telling Officer Mason there was no violence in the home and she felt safest and happiest with me wasn't a good idea. What do you mean, telling Officer Mason? Let's leave out this part. Telling Officer Mason there was no violence in the home wasn't a good idea. Are you crazy? Because it was a lie. because she didn't feel safest and happiest with you. She lied to Officer Mason. Look what she said. He says before, I'm not saying Malaya did it. Uh-oh. But leaving in front of investigators RCMP with a shocking exit wasn't a good idea. This makes no sense, but he wants to bring this claim in here, this false claim that there was no violence and that she felt safest and happiest with him. He wants to still have us believe this garbage. Believe that she said it. And you see, he is highly likely this lie. If you read and continue reading, you need to accept this lie as a given. This is storytelling, people. This is not just making up a lie. This is similar to the Proudfoot saying, when Sebastian, okay, why did he leave the house? Why did he run away? Why? Not just saying he ran out of the house. He must have, but why did he do it? So at the basis, he's asking, so they want your mind to wander further into this direction. But in order, while your mind is wandering in this direction, the whole time you need to accept the lie as a basis. He wants to imprint this to make himself look like a better person than he is. I'm not a bad person. That's what he's trying to tell you. That's what he wants you to think, because he knows more and more about him is coming to the surface.
Female. Logan was willing, it should be, to help Malaya in any way. Same with Darren. He wanted to talk to Malaya to see if he could help.
No, they didn't. They all wanted to help, yes. Help you, Daniel. Help you get out of it. Their thought was, Malaya, you are the enabler. You are the one who didn't do your job as a mother. That's why the kids were so loud. That's why everything took place the way that it did. Now you owe him. You need to be there and help Daniel. That's why Darren and Logan wanted to talk more to Malaya.
Help. Logan was there with Malaya the first 2 days she was there.
She was there.
Had Logan taking all the calls from me for RCMP and news outlets so I could spend my time searching.
No, you could spend your time running away and creating a reason why your clothing was wet from what you did that night, getting rid of Jack and Lily's bodies. You didn't want to be seen. You made sure to exit, to leave the property very quickly, to give them an explanation. Why are you so tired? Why is your voice hoarse? Why are you wet? Why do you look so disheveled? He didn't want to be seen by the RCMP until he was able to give a reason for that.
Still to this day, I still lay in bed trying to come up with another answer. It's not for money.
I'm trying to come up with another story, with an answer. Come up with, not think of another reason. Come up with. What do you come up with? You come up with fabrications, stories.
It's not for fame. It's so the two little kids can get to enjoy their childhood, because right now, what kind of fucking childhood is this they're having? And then I asked him, obviously, if I could share it.
Interesting, right? Because Janie also talked about, I wouldn't want to be a kid in this situation. What childhood did they have there? They had to defend themselves. Lily had to defend Jack. Malaya said Daniel was picking on Jack, picking on, which is her normalizing the beating, the abuse. Sometimes he picked on Lily too, yes, but more on Jack. So she saw her little brother being terrorized, and sometimes little girls that age, when they see their mothers failing, they sort of take on the motherly role with their younger siblings. And that's what she did. And I said it before, Lily would have grown up to be a very good mother one day. Because the pain that she felt, she wanted to protect her little brother from. These kids were too good for your damn trailer. They were too good to be around you and your mother, Daniel. They were little pearls in a pile of shit. And that's all I can call your property, your mindset, your lifestyle, your everything. Unproductive and only destructive. Taking advantage of the system. Not wanting the children, but getting money for them that Malaya spent within 2 days until she's back to her grandma and saying, who forgave her for ripping her off for $8,000. And I believe, in being, I am not a tough person with my kids. So I kind of understand also, I have a soft spot also for Belinda. Some of you called her an enabler with Cody, but no, I have this type of, I am the same way. Maybe not the same way, but I get it to a degree. But you know what, man? Sometimes tougher love, I guess, is a good thing because look at where it led. Malaya always had grandma to come to. Maybe grandma should have said, you know what? I'm changing my locks. I bought a safe, so I put everything in there that's mine, that may give access to my bank account. You will not be able to rip me off again, young lady. Because she always had this out, no matter how she screwed up. Grandma was always there, right? I get it, Grandma, I get it. But look where this is leading, man. Because these people, they thought they had the right to do whatever. Zero consequences for anything. They're getting free money for these kids and they're wasting it. And then they want more. And now she feels entitled to even get the donations that people are giving to find Jack and Lilly or find out what happened to these two kids. That is a mindset, man.
He said, just share it, Sonny. He says, I have nothing to lose at this point.
Yes, you do.
In all fairness, that's a true answer.
No. You have your freedom to lose, bro.
Answer there. Share it. Included the inside joke, which he, again, top dog. Okay. So let's see here. Now, this was a question up here that Belinda had asked to Daniel that he didn't answer. That he hadn't answered during a live. So I wanted to ask Daniel for the sake of Belinda. And so Belinda had said, not yet. I asked her if Daniel answered her on this question. She said, Daniel never answered my question. Janie sent Justin over to the park at the school on Saturday to keep everyone off the property.
Saturday.
I wanted to know why. And then Daniel says, no, that never happened. The old school doesn't have a park either. It had 2 swings 15 years ago. I sat on them for years. As kids, we hosted community Christmas parties for the whole neighborhood. That's how the community was brought together for the case. Everyone helped search. Mom's timeline is considered gold standard in the case. Malaya said that the timeline is off and investigators have the right one. Mom's is the one investigators have. When you say first, I said it wasn't the blanket. Let me see if I can get that bottom thing to go away. Okay, there we go. There was 2 blankets, the tree one that grew wings and flew up the road. And then there was one that was brought to my attention by...
Or you sped by and it flew off or got stuck in a tree when you used the ATV. We need to get more into that. I will get more into that. I need more statements on that.
Officer Carol Mason. That was also pink, but was not Lillian Jack's.
What?
And then he says, sorry, just got off the phone with the investigators because he was taking a while to come back. So then he says the largest section of the blanket was taken from the garbage by RCMP when I
So it was the section of the blanket. It was part of the blanket. What's the other part? You're trying to tell me these are two blankets?
called it in. The one that's in the tree was probably the one in the interviews. I don't watch my interviews. Both are part of the same blanket.
Okay.
The other one wasn't theirs, was complete. So I said the large section of the blanket that was taken from the garbage by RCMC
Yeah.
when I called it in, or didn't mean to say when I called it in. Wait, what? The one in the tree was probably the one in the interview.
Daniel,
That's what he said. Sorry, that says you forwarded a message. I'm like, I didn't say that. And then, but anyway, so I said, what does this mean? The one in the window wasn't any part of it. And so I showed him this picture, right? Because you guys know right here, there's like this pink blanket, like, and that's not even the close-up picture, but there's a pink blanket in that window. So he says, that part in the tree, here, let me take this away again. Come on, go away, bottom. That part in the tree and the part in the garbage equals full blanket.
Okay.
Full blanket is yes to the door, not window. It was never on a window. It was a door. And that's when I said, yeah, 3 to the right. And that's when he replied, no, that's not it. It was on the door, but I do see now why people said window, LOL. And he says, internet detectives for you. That and miscommunication earlier, I can see why people thought that I lied. He said, another thing that I can clear up with answers is that
internet detectives. No, they're actually very skilled people that he has a problem with, not the dumbasses that you hang out with, Daniel.
I asked for officers of New Brunswick, PEI, and all airports, but RCMP.
And you can look at the comments on my videos. And they are good. They are not like the average nonsense that you may see. And it takes work to keep it clean. You know what I mean, Jean?
Told me it's not a concern. I found that odd. I also know now why an Amber Alert was never issued. I asked one of the officers why there's no Amber Alert sent out, and he kept skirting around the question. I think he was given information that the case was not abduction because abduction is considered by an unknown individual or...
Oh, let me guess, dude. You're still trying to hint at the story Darren created, right?
Party. They already had knowledge that I gave when me and Commander or Operations had to sit down my mother inside my mother's car, and they asked me, was Lily sick? I said, well, yesterday she was, but it was a cough. I seen her this morning poking into the room, no cough, looks fine to me.
Did you poke them to see if they're still alive?
Commander, I wouldn't have kept them home. He just smirked and said, Daniel, thanks. I'll let you go, and I promise that we will do everything that we can. He said, people want to pressure me, pressure the RCMP, but I'm not doing that. Why pressure the main contributors to helping finding the kids?
You're supposed to put pressure. That's expected from somebody whose children are missing and who wants them back.
Let's see. This, why do I have this one again?
I don't know.
Oh, that's a fail. I don't know why I had that one there again. That one shouldn't be there again. How did I manage to do that? I'll have to look at that. Okay. I already told RCMP I'm not accepting a cold case. And I said, can you clear up this, please? Are you 100% positive on Wednesday and Thursday? You and Malaya had no type of argument about money or anything else, okay? A lot of my things were in audio as I was doing it, because I was trying to eat and just an easier way than wasting my fingers.
And now look at what he says. Investigators know my life inside and out. No, they don't. Malaya and me had no arguments. Liar. She was hugging me and crying on my shoulder until the briefing, where she left. Really. It shocked RCMP, but most of all, Cindy told her, get in this car now. Well, maybe Cindy did. Maybe she said, enough now. You wanted to leave, you always want to leave, and then you don't leave. Now I've had it. You are leaving. You're coming with me. Are you kidding me? Look at what happened, how this escalated. Because you allowed it to. And you are going to get away from this guy. I believe Wade. The first thought, while driving up there, he thought, without knowing the details, Daniel hurt the kids. That was his first thought. And believe me, if that wasn't Cindy's thought, I believe it was Cindy's thought as well. They both were on the same level when it came to that. Both of them. But Wade was the only one talking. And boy, am I happy he did. And some of you said, well, he shouldn't. It was not a good thing to record him in private, and that's his rights violated. You know what? I have mixed feelings about that. And in the case of two missing children, I'm sorry, but I don't see anything wrong with it. Maybe I should be, but no, I'm not. Because Tint was doing really what maybe an investigator should have done, right? But maybe they were not able to do. So I don't like these restrictions with media and police too much, because there needs to be maybe a little more freedom. But that's when the public comes in, you know? So I'm very happy Tint did what he did. I'm very happy about it. So I would be very hypocritical to say that he shouldn't have done it, because I couldn't wait to get to that. In this case, we need information. And if the hands of the media and the police are tied, then you know what? Of course, people will come and do what they see there is a need for. You know what I mean? Don't you agree? Am I being too far-fetched here or what?
Investigators know that my life inside and out. Malaya and me had no arguments. She was hugging me and crying on my shoulder until the briefing where she left. It shocked RCMP, but most of all, Cindy told her to get in this car now. Meadow was already in the car, and the only goodbye I got to give to Meadow was walking after the car and putting my hand on the window to say goodbye. Daddy loves you. That's fucking heartbreaking, Sonny.
Okay. But Jack and Lilly were animals, right? Right, Logan? Oh, yeah, and like you pointed out so well, I'm not an animal person. Yeah, that's her way of telling you. They didn't like Jack and Lilly. And Wade said it straight up. He don't like them kids. Yep, I know.
Then after the heartbreaking moment, I turned around to see 100 searchers, RCMP officers, and investigators shocked and mind blown.
Yes.
To the fact that Malaya left. I know you don't get that.
You were not shocked. You were not shocked at all. He is pretending to be shocked. This has been coming for a very long time. He didn't expect it to happen because he always kept her from leaving. But he knew she wanted to leave. Me and Malaya had no arguments. Malaya and me had no arguments. Oh my God, you were arguing all the damn time. And the only times you were not arguing was when she just disappeared into her phone, where she had to block her friends. Yeah, as long as she obeyed you, there were no arguments. But every time, that's why she had an anxiety attack, probably. Because she already did everything that she could. to give up on herself. Even on her phone, she wasn't able to communicate with the phone. Your phone is an extension of your mind. You can communicate with people that you feel like communicating with and exchange ideas and thoughts. But the moment that you have the thought police around you telling you whom you can talk to, wow, man, this guy is living in La La Land. And again, he's being deceptive. He's trying to change his image because things are becoming clearer and clearer and more obvious.
Understanding from me, sorry, let me just, from me in chat with one sentence answers.
Yeah, so he's telling you exactly why he does all this. Because I pointed it out and that other one pointed it out, what he does. And we were saying, this is getting old, dude. Face us. Answer our questions. Answer Belinda's questions.
Okay.
Oh my God, I'm not looking for damage control. That's exactly what he is doing. That is the intention. I am the intention detective, people. He is telling us PLAIDS, plates, priorities, leakage, avoidances, deception, no, intentions, deception, and sensitivities. This is the intention. Damage control. That's all, the only reason why he is doing that, because he sees all the damage and he now reads from people like me and others who are saying, this is it, man. We've had it. Why are you here? Why are you lurking? You're constantly lurking. And let me say another thing. When Durwood came to the scene, or whatever his name is, Daniel had not been speaking. He was afraid to speak to the people on the internet because it's not controlled like the media. He was scared of that. But once he got there and got himself so tangled up, creating all these confusions, guess what? He was in it. He couldn't get out. And now he can't stay away. He's addicted to it. Oh my God. I'm only showing the struggle on the inside. When somebody says just or only, it's comparative. A bigger picture is on his mind. Something much bigger. Into the events behind the scenes. No, you're doing a lot more than that. I remain the target as long as it takes. I told investigators that
I'm not looking for damage control. I'm only showing you the struggle and the insight into the events behind the scenes. I'll remain the target as long as it takes. I told investigators that they said, I know you will, Dan. The judgment doesn't matter because while everyone is entitled to speak their mind,
La La
we
Land.
all do judge. We are all human and we are all living for the first time. So if you're going to judge, analyze.
We're all humans, but some of us hurt Lily and Jack, and most of us did not. You did. Okay? You, as a human being, you did that. So don't compare yourself to everybody else. That's similar to Malaya saying, as a mother. Well, you were not being motherly. So don't try to get all the mothers in the world to come to your aid.
All the data, rewatch.
We all do judge. I'm not judging you. I'm not the judge here. I'm pointing out the facts. We are all human and we are all living for the first time. That's, again, philosophy. We are all living. Yes, this is the first life, unless you believe in reincarnation. We are all living for the first time. Wow, that's deep, dude. But all general stuff, you know. He likes to talk. Malaya doesn't, but he loves to talk. So that's why it's so important when he tells you, I cannot say something, makes this a very sensitive area of avoidance. Avoidance and sensitivities are very closely related.
Video, or I think that's read, watch videos. Don't have your heart set on sometimes from a small piece of information. Like
just if you're going to judge, analyze all the data. I am. Thanks, bro, for the advice. Read, watch videos. Now watch videos. I watch very few things, man. Very few things. I watched this. Don't have your heart set on some time from a small piece of info. You're giving us all the information, Daniel. My last videos, my last two with your water references, I already know what happened. But can it be proven? Can evidence be found? Can pieces of Jack's pull-up probably into the ocean, gone with the tides? You know what I mean? They didn't go out there. Maybe they should have gone out there immediately to wherever, Kobe Bay, or what is it? You know what I mean? But they didn't. So the evidence is gone. That's why he feels safe. But that's why he needs to do damage control, because he doesn't want to be known for what he did, even if he doesn't go to jail. I think he feels pretty safe. I think he feels like, you know what? These children are out in the ocean. They're not going to be found. And I remain the target. The remains of the children also can be leakage, people. The way we choose our words.
I hope everyone takes something away from these messages. And if not, that's fine. At least you took the time to read it. That means your heart is in the right place for Lily and Jack.
Yeah, sidetracking, wasting our time. But we didn't waste our time because you said a few things. Okay, dude.
I already leaked so much investigators didn't want anymore out there because I'm trying everything I can to help. I already know what's going to be said. Daniel, what the fuck? We have a conversation about not saying anything every time. But hey, it's already done. I have no time machine to go back and take back words.
That's why you're talking more and more. Let's see the next one.
Mm-hmm. I did see on the live that you're fair. He's talking about the one with Daniel from the Drunk Turkey show, right? Just wanted.
And by the way, I missed that because I didn't think that the guest had anything of importance to offer from the very beginning. So I don't let myself get sidetracked by these things either. And I always figure that if something really important comes up, that's when somebody will alert me, and I appreciate it when you guys do that. As for this one, I really regret not having been there, but it seems that the comment section in the live chat was not, I mean, from this part that I've seen, what it was first. But Daniel was there, right, in live chat. I think he's there all the time. He can't get away. He needs to be on top of things.
To be fair.
He's trying to control the narrative here. And the more you write, the less you say.
Not from somebody that...
Because when you have some facts or something, when the truth is on your side and you need to disprove something, you know what, people? Guess what? Guess what? You keep it short and get right to the point. You don't yap around. That's not what you're gonna do. He doesn't get to any point. And he's telling you, when somebody's telling you what they're not doing, which is what he did here. I'm not looking for damage control. Not. That's exactly what you... Same with Janie. I'm not here to lie. That's exactly why you're there. Uh-oh. Where was I?
Somebody that had never paid attention to the case.
And remember what I said, Daniel, and I'm sure you read it. When you said, Sunny, you bash people, I said Sunny was your biggest advocate in the beginning. But you talked her out of it. Maybe I shouldn't have said this. Maybe I shouldn't give you such good advice. But now, maybe he's thinking about that and saying, I want to keep you on my side.
And have a fair point of view.
But not your mama. That Sammy, she. Oh my God, Janie's voice, man. I had to shut it off. I had to pace myself and say, guess what, dude? I cannot listen to this crap anymore. I cannot listen to this woman yapping and yelling and bashing, and all of this crap. But I guess, people, I'm going to be done now. This is already a long time.
That's what we're talking about there.
I see you soon.